Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Todd Butler, President and CEO of Causewave Community Partners, and welcome to the 2020 Causewave Annual Wavemaker Celebration, our first ever virtual version of this event. Now, the meal we serve at this event is a little bit different than probably what you're having right now. I know it's going to be a little bit different for me as well, but we're making the best of our situation, and that's what we've all been doing every day, right? So really glad that you're here with us. And thanks to the creative talents of some very special partners, I can promise you today's celebration is still going to provide some important guests, some moments of laughter, I hope, and some moments of reflection and resolve. Now, today is special for many reasons. First of all, it's the 19th anniversary of one of the darkest days in our nation's history, a memory that still feels fresh for me, and I'm guessing many of you. But with the benefit of some hindsight, we can also see it as the beginning of a coming together of all of us to overcome a challenge that seemed insurmountable. And that's something that should give us hope in the face of today's realities. Now, it's also special because, for some of us, it's the first time we've been together since March. That sounds surreal, even as I say it. Remember when we left the office buildings to work from home? We were still wearing winter coats, hats, and gloves. We threw a few random office supplies in the bag and thought, we'll be back in a few weeks. Now, 2 whole seasons have passed since then, and remarkably, we're beginning to see signs of fall. Cool nights, back-to-school ads, Halloween decorations, and of course, pumpkin spice lattes. So much has happened since March in our community, in our country. There have been many inspiring examples of our community pulling together to support each other. Of course, there have also been heartbreaking and discouraging examples of pain, loss, and frustration. While we persist in our battle with COVID-19, we're also linking arms to fight the racial inequalities that continue to divide our country. During the next 55 minutes, we're going to shine a bright light on individuals and organizations in our community who continually rise to the challenge of making our world and our community better day after day. We know there's a long road ahead on many fronts, but we're all in for a marathon, not just a sprint. And one thing we know for sure, our community is resilient and determined. Our history is chock full of inspiring examples, pioneers of every color and creed who brought change and innovation. Thanks to them, we're not starting the fire from scratch, we're carrying the torch forward. Now, for any of you who are new to Causewave, welcome. One of the advantages of a virtual event is that friends from around the country are joining us on our biggest day, the annual Wavemaker Celebration. Our small but mighty nonprofit has been in Rochester since 1950, 70 incredible years, helping to make community change happen in partnership with coalitions, institutions, foundations, organizations, other nonprofits, the business community, and you. At Causewave, we work on a wide range of issues, including physical and mental health, social justice and equity, education and environmentalism, and pretty much everything in between. We've been proud to work on critical community issues and causes such as keeping our roadways safe, advocating for cancer screening, inspiring the gift of life through organ donation, working to address the opioid crisis, and so much more. Today, in celebration of 70 years of getting change going, we'll hear from some very special guests who have deep ties to our mission. We'll also present the W.B. Potter Founders Award to a coalition that has been at the forefront of our community's response to COVID-19. And we will give our thanks to all who have made this work possible for 7 decades. As we get started, let's take a moment to extend our thanks to all the generous sponsors of today's celebration. There are Causewave live event here, folks. There are Causewave collaborators, and their support is making today possible. In addition to thanking man's best friend, we want to thank our very good friend, Nancy J. Farrell, our presenting sponsor and partner, dedicated volunteer, donor, and all-around great gal. You'll be hearing more from Nancy shortly. Our catalyst sponsor, J Advertising. Our underwriters, Partners in Napier, Bond, Shenick and King. The Rochester Area Community Foundation, and Paychex. Our media sponsor, Entercom, including radio stations 98PXY, 98.9 The Buzz, and WBEE 92.5. Special thanks to our generous in-kind supporters, Myers Creative Imaging, Jason Yates, Soucier Design. Today's promotional supporters, the Rochester Business Journal and WXXI, and Mary Therese Friel. We'd also like to thank CMI AV for audio-visual support. And a big thanks to the donors who had purchased tickets to our previously scheduled event in April and then generously transferred those tickets into donations. We're very fortunate to have several incredible speakers today, and we thank them for taking the time to celebrate with us. 70 years, that's a pretty impressive stretch of time. That's exactly how long CAUSEWAVE has been getting change going in the greater Rochester region. I'd like to give you a taste of that history, but there's someone else who can do a much better job than I. Please help me welcome a person who is very special to me personally and to our organization, our biggest cheerleader, the daughter of our founder, Ann Potter Sylvester.
Thanks, Todd. It's so good to be with you all today. Waldo B. Potter, better known as Pete, past Vice President of Eastman Kodak, my dad, without whom the Advertising Council, now known as Causeway Community Partners, might not have happened. Rochester was emerging from the ravages of World War II when my father gathered together a small group of local advertising greats, fondly known as the Ad Club, to address where they could most help the city's recovery. People helping people with no interest in attention or applause. It grew into the Advertising Council. 70 years have gone by, but my dad's quiet influence is still here. His 18 by 60 foot colorama, so prominent across the entire back wall of New York City's Grand Central Station from 1950 to 1990, is being resurrected on the front lawn of the George Eastman Museum here in Rochester. The legacy continues. He certainly left me with proud and very happy memories, along with some really awful shaggy dog stories he was so fond of telling us. My sister and brother are no longer with us, but I know they would join me in thanking you for your hard work and dedication. I also want to thank all those tireless volunteers that personally helped my dad along the way. I really hope to see you all in person soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, Ann. We're so grateful for the love and support you and your family continue to share with CAUSEWAVE and our community. CAUSEWAVE created the Matchstick Prize a number of years ago to recognize the big impact of small nonprofits. A few months ago, as nonprofits across the community were pivoting to respond to the coronavirus, we consulted with our Matchstick Prize sponsors and together made a quick decision to accelerate this year's process in order to provide the award sooner and get funding in the hands of the finalists and the winner in the summer instead of waiting till the fall. We thank our sponsors for their incredible generosity, especially during this challenging time. Please join me in recognizing our founding sponsors, the Credit Union Collective, representing the Reliant Federal Credit Union, the Summit Federal Credit Union, and Pittsford Federal Credit Union. We also thank our Stoke the Fire sponsor, 2 Point Capital Management, and our Ignite the Flame sponsor, the Democrat and Chronicle. For this year's Matchstick Prize, we received a record number of applications, even with a shortened timeline. 65 incredible organizations applied this year, and 5 finalists were selected by a panel of community judges. The finalists were 540 West Main, Dress for Success Rochester, the Avenue Black Box Theater, the Junior League of Rochester's Diaper Project, and the Center for Teen Empowerment. This year, all 5 finalists received a $1,000 prize from 2 Point Capital Management, and the winner received an additional $5,000 prize made possible by the Credit Union Collective, as well as a Democrat and Chronicle media grant for $25,000. The winner of this year's Matchstick Prize was the Center for Teen Empowerment. We congratulate their team again, the finalists, and all 65 organizations who participated in this year's program. Next up, I'm happy to introduce a message from our dear friend, supporter, and today's presenting sponsor, Nancy J. Farrell. Nancy?
Todd?
Oh, Nancy, what are you doing here?
They told me to be here. I normally try to follow directions at least part of the time.
Well, you did a good job. So I'm glad you're here because you can tell folks what you've got to say in person instead of on video.
Indeed, I will. Would you mind moving, sir?
Out from behind the podium? Fine.
Nice shorts, Todd. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you all to Causewave's special event. We are delighted to have you with us and delighted to be celebrating 70 years. So, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Causewave, happy birthday to you, and many more. Let me just say that I am delighted to be younger than Causewave.
Thanks, Nancy, for helping us to commemorate this very special day. Whoops, I guess I can take this off, can't I? Our next speaker has some very personal ties to our organization and now continues her commitment to Causewave as our board chair. Please help me welcome Martha Bush, Chief Marketing Officer at FoodLink. Martha's not here, right? Okay, Martha.
Hi, my name is Martha Bush. I'm Chief Marketing Officer at FoodLink, and I'm also proud to be President of the board at Causewave. I got to Rochester when I was about 6 months old. My dad got recruited by Charlie Rumrell to come up and work at Rumrell Hoyt Advertising, so I've been kind of in an advertising family my whole life. I remember lots of dinner parties at the house where there were advertising people and media people all talking loudly about what was going on in our community, how they could make things better, how they could help each other make things better. And I vividly remember those conversations of really interesting people talking about things that were really important to them. Sadly, my dad died when I was 15 and we moved away. About 20 years later, I moved back to Rochester with my husband, hoping to find a great place to raise a family and get involved with the community. My introduction to Causewave was when I was at Sigma working on the H2O Hero project. It was very much a data-driven, research-based campaign with great creative, designed to get people to think differently about how they can personally help the water quality in our region. About 14 years ago or so, I was sitting at one of these breakfasts, sort of scanning through the previous Lantern Award winners, and I realized that I recognized about 24 of the names from the 60s and 70s. Those are the same people that were sitting around the dinner table at my house, talking about how to make the community a better place. And that really sort of put a light bulb on in my head and said, this is really a legacy. Ad Council Causewave is a legacy of marketing and creative people trying to make a difference. I really got a chance to work on an interesting project called the Race and Media Project. Causewave did some research that showed that there's really a serious imbalance in how communities of color are represented in the media. And sharing that research with media folks wasn't always an easy conversation. But I do think that things are changing and that wheels are turning. And I applaud the media for making a priority of telling positive stories from all communities. Causewave really does get waves of change going, but those waves are really amplified by everybody in this room. Think of the combined network everyone here has. What a powerful force. Together, we can really create positive action and change. As board chair of Causewave, I want to thank you for your support and thank you for amplifying the waves of change. Finally, as Chief Marketing Officer of FoodLink, I salute you as a most incredible caring community during this coronavirus pandemic. The amazing collaboration between the United Way, local and state governments, Causewave, and so many of our nonprofit partners has been humbling and inspiring. You have all used your platforms to not just help us get through this pandemic, but really to create positive change. So let's keep it going. Thank you.
In addition to being today's Catalyst sponsor, Jay Advertising has been a generous sponsor of the annual celebration for more than a dozen years and a financial supporter of our organization for nearly 40 years. Lisa Kreinenberg and Tim Winter are coming to us from their COVID quarantine locations to share a few words about their work with Causewave over the years.
Hi, Lisa Kreinenberg here. from Jay. Getting a little wet, thinking about the fact that we're all drops, but to borrow from Mother Teresa, if one drop was missing, the ocean would notice. Together, we create waves. And we're proud to be part of the Cause Wave, going strong for 70 years. Congratulations, here's to 70 more.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Winter from J Advertising. I just wanted to congratulate everybody at CauseWave on everything you've accomplished and the many organizations that you guys have impacted. It's been awesome to be able to work with you through the years on a few of those campaigns, and especially an honor to be able to work with you on the development of your new logo. I don't think many of you realize how involved Todd was in the design process. He had a lot of ideas, so I thought it would be interesting to share a few of them with you today. This is one of them right here, a butter community. I think maybe not one of the strongest ideas here. And then I think this is a little bit of a better place. We're getting a little bit closer here with CauseWave. But I think in the end, we landed in a good place. So here's to 70 more years of making waves in the community. Cheers.
Thanks for that, Lisa and Tim. Tim, your creative skills are on display once again as you show that you're taking some creative license with our naming process. Thank you very much. Well, we clearly need that help, or we'd be stuck with names that I come up with. So many thanks to both of you and to all our partners at J Advertising who've been supporting Causeway for decades. Your generous and genius contributions on community impact projects like the Stay True to You Unintended Pregnancy Reduction Initiative have made a real impact in our community. It's my pleasure to now introduce another familiar face, community champion and Causeway partner, Wade Norwood. As a Rochester native, Wade has dedicated his life to public service, education, and improving outcomes in healthcare. Wade is the CEO at Common Ground Health. He serves as a regent with the New York State Education Department and is also president and senior pastor at the Holy Jerusalem Spiritual Church. Thanks for joining us today, Wade.
Hi, I'm Wade Norwood. And I'm delighted to be here to have the chance to just share with you how CauseWave has been a key partner for Common Ground Health and make clear CauseWave's contributions to our community here in the Finger Lakes region. As you know, we at Common Ground Health work to build common approaches for health improvement. Our efforts have been strengthened as CauseWave has helped us find the words to describe our work. They led us, board and staff, working together to better understand our work and our audiences. And they guided us in not only changing our name from the Finger Lakes Health Systems Agency, they also helped us change how we do our work and how we communicate our mission and vision. But CauseWave is not a one and done partner for us. They've become a key contributor in the work we do. They're very active with our Summer Meals Partnership, through which they help us serve over 300,000 meals to children ages 2 through 18 in the city of Rochester. They've also helped us innovate through the mobile meal delivery that helps us serve harder to reach neighborhoods. And through their community impact program, CauseWave has shifted our traffic safety campaigns focused from pedestrians and cyclists to motorists. They leverage their networks to help us find an advertising agency that has infused our campaign with a fun, eye-catching message. They've been working alongside us to develop the programmatic elements of the campaign, including lawn signs and web development. Absolutely, CauseWave has proven that they know how to be a wave maker. And the ripples that they help spread in our community are multi-directional, and they inspire all of their partners to explore new ideas and think differently about their work.
I've been asked to speak to CauseWave's mission. It's a combined, dual mission. First of all, they're helping nonprofits. And when I came here 13 years ago to the greater Rochester area, I was the pastor of a Presbyterian church. I spent 3 years trying to encourage my congregation to envision and choose directions for mission for themselves and then to act upon their choices. We found Causewave, then the Ad Council of Rochester, through a friend's referral. Remember, word of mouth is great advertising. Beginning in July of 2011, our leadership board met with Causewave, did a strategic roundtable, a brand development and customer touch point workshops. Because of the assistance of the Rochester Community Foundation Bullis Fund, we were able to fund these endeavors. And at our annual meeting in 2012, there were changes made. Leadership shared the vision and the resources with the congregation, bringing committees and congregation into active work on our brand. Who knew? Churches can have brands too. We had 2 banners with the abbreviated brand platform statement hang up in our sanctuary and fellowship hall, visually reinforcing our brand message as it was articulated by our members in their own words. Personally, I was very impressed with the work accomplished cooperatively in our Causewave workshops, so I started recommending other people in Wayne and Yates County consider asking questions. This is not just a Rochester group, this is the greater Rochester area Causewave. I respect deeply the integrity of Causewave's work, the inclusion of leadership, the groupthink, and the respect for different styles of leadership and different opinions, the commitment that Causewave has for not-for-profit, and the ability for not-for-profits to be professional. Causewave has a combined mission. Remember, the first one's the work with the not-for-profits. The second is the community impact campaigns. In 2014, my work with Causewave shifted from being a leader assisted by the participation in the not-for-profits to becoming active in community projects and community impact campaigns through Causewave. Starting with Every Minute Matters, I contributed to Causewave as an investor, not just a little donor, as an investor. Guided by a theory of change that works on barriers and behaviors, we seek to make a difference in our greater Rochester community and forward into the world. Working in partnership and having studied the best way to utilize the tools of the marketing and advertising trades for greater good, the goal of community impact campaigns when addressing a challenge is to achieve specific, measurable behavioral changes. What a thoughtful approach to mission, and I might add, very Presbyterian. I depend upon Causewave's partnership to do some research for me. They utilize the best human resources, the best creative tools that are found in our community. This saves me time and energy, and so as I seek to serve God and community, I am reminded to donate to Causewave. In 2017, a very special project to me was launched. I gave seed money for the Race and Media Project, and I continue to give money to the Race and Media Project. It is dear to my heart. I heard a quote the other day that reminded me very much of Causewave. Change happens at the speed of trust. Change happens at the speed of trust. For 70 years, the Ad Council and now Causewave have been trusted by the members of this community to be leaders among not-for-profits and among causes, hence Causewave. And so today I'm before you asking you very simply to donate what you can and donate what makes sense to you. $7, $70, $700, I might just come up with a little bit more. And I'd be glad to do so because of my love for this and respect for this organization and their integrity. I just wanted to close with George Bernard Shaw's wonderful rant. This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, the being force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a splendid torch, which I have a hold of for just a moment. And I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it over to future generations. We give thanks for CauseWave. I give thanks for all of you and your contributions and your generosity of gifts. Please let us go forward and let it burn brightly into the future.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
You're welcome.
Wow, that was great. Wasn't that inspirational words from Nancy? Thank you, Nancy, as always, for your passion, your commitment, your tireless roll-up-your-sleeves approach to life, and this mask, which reminds us one of the big things that we're hoping to accomplish today. So we're very fortunate, Nancy, to have you in our organization and our community. Nearly 10 years ago, generous philanthropist and one of the original madmen, Jack Krashauer, proposed that we create a society of individual donors who make personal commitments of major support for CauseWave's work. 26 staunch supporters stepped forward and became the inaugural members of the W.B. Potter Society, and every single one of them has remained engaged with the organization since then. In the past decade, many more Wavemakers have joined the ranks of Potter Society members. These folks continue to put time, talent, and treasure to work for the betterment of the greater Rochester community, following in the footsteps of CauseWave's founder, Pete Potter. At our in-person events, you can spot our Potter members by the special green ribbons on their name tags, and we usually ask them to stand and be recognized. We won't ask them to do that today. Unless you want to, feel free to stand up at home, but please accept our sincere thanks for your generosity. And to the rest of you, please consider becoming a member of this valued society of Wavemakers and join with your donation today. I also want to mention a very important group of volunteers without whom CauseWave could not continue to do our work and thrive. The CauseWave Board of Directors works behind the scenes to help us increase our impact in the community. They're working to make CauseWave stronger. At the same time, they're engaging with our nonprofit partners and telling the CauseWave story far and wide. It's my privilege and true honor to serve with this hardworking, dedicated group. Sorry, I was on mute. And finally, I want to thank a pretty special group of CauseWave champions. I count myself lucky every day to be able to do this work with some of the best human beings on the planet. I want to say a special thanks to Kate Pellet, Aaron Latanzio, Mary Hadley, Michaela Allen, Rashad Smith, Alan Stelges, Tiffany Payne-Cirincione, and our newest team members who are assisting with project management specifically on our COVID-19 work, Deb Hanmer, Stanley Bird, and Vanessa Martell. And today simply would not have happened without Andrea Carvalho and Elizabeth Murray. Please give a virtual high five to one of the smartest, hardest working groups of do-gooders this town has ever seen. Now, in light of the devastating consequences of COVID-19, we ourselves had to consider whether we could or even should hold this annual celebration. But when we thought about why the Ad Council was started back in 1950 during a community crisis coming out of World War II, and how it continues to play a relevant, impactful role 70 years later during another crisis, we knew we couldn't let the 70th anniversary go by without paying tribute to Pete Potter's vision and award the W.B. Potter's Founders Award. Named for our founder, this award recognizes a coalition of individuals and organizations that has succeeded in bringing to life a results-oriented collaborative initiative that fills a community need and in so doing supports CauseWave's mission and serves as a role model for other partnerships. When COVID-19 struck our region in March, community partners responded swiftly, strategically, and collaboratively. A coalition was quickly formed and began the work that resulted in the 6 Feet Saves campaign, an initiative involving dozens of local community organizations and media partners in response to the urgent need for action to slow the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. The campaign was implemented across many marketing and media channels, from television ads to murals to lawn signs and sidewalk paint. The campaign was created in just a matter of weeks and reached hundreds of thousands of local residents with messages underscoring the importance of staying home and social distancing. According to data compiled by the New York Times, Monroe County has so far had the lowest rate of deaths per 100,000 residents from COVID-19 among the 15 largest counties in New York State. Now, while this campaign can't claim credit for this success, it has most certainly played a part. When our community faced its biggest health challenge in 100 years, it was clear we needed something to rally around. So many people and organizations answered the call. From the public servants in the health department to the communications professionals at Partners in Napier to our local community, media community, to businesses and nonprofits, this was a joint effort like I have never seen. Everyone was hungry to do their part in saving lives. I specifically and personally want to thank all the members of the 6 Feet Saves Coalition listed here. Today, we proudly present the 20th W.B. Potter Founders Award on this milestone 70th anniversary to the 6 Feet Saves Coalition. Accepting on behalf of the coalition are Partners in Napier Executive Sharon Napier, Chair and Founder, and Rob Kottkamp, Chief Creative Officer, Sue Munn, Vice President and General Manager, Entercom, and County Executive Adam Bello on behalf of the Monroe County Department of Public Health.
Hi, I'm Sharon Napier, and I'm the Chair and Founder of Partners in Napier.
And I'm Rob Kottkamp, the Chief Creative Officer of Partners in Napier.
In March, we got a call from Todd Butler. And Todd Butler had told us that the community had decided to create a very important message around COVID-19, a message that could save lives. Without hesitation, we said yes.
6 Feet Saves campaign was designed for everyone, using every available media tactic that we had, from television and video to out-of-home, bus shelters, on-the-street tactics, graffiti. We pulled out all the stops to spread the word and, more importantly, to save lives.
As a creative agency, we believe in the power of creativity to change the world. And partnerships and campaigns like this cannot happen without the county, the city, Causewaves,
All of our media partners, the Foie Crew, and Mercury Printing.
Thank you.
Oh, hey guys, hold on a minute.
Yeah, I had to pull over because, you are that distracting. But as the market manager of Entercom Radio, I want to say how extremely proud I am to be a proud supporter of the Causewave Distracted Driving and Safe Text campaigns, and more recently of the 6 Feet Saves campaign that was so expertly and efficiently put together as soon as we knew, how bad we were all getting hit back in the spring by COVID. So I want to say thank you. And on behalf of all of the other media companies in town who have donated their advertising space and time to Causewave's many campaigns over the years, I know that we are all very proud of our association with all the great work that Causewave does. So lastly, I want to say that as a board member, I have been on the board for many years, and honestly, I don't think that they're going to let me come back again when it's time to sign up again, because I've been there for a lot of terms, and that bums me out. But I have loved all of the years that I have been with Causewave up until this point. It's been amazing. Amazing because the work that they do is so creative and it is very high impact. You see in a small community like this that a smaller organization like Causewave can make such a big ripple effect across the community. And so being a media sponsor who can help spread the word and communicate the great messaging that they come up with just makes me very proud. So I want to say thank you for Causewave for including me in this and allowing me to be on the board for so many years and, you know, putting up with me. And I want to say huge shout out to Todd and his team because they are awesome, creative and smart and strategic, and they pick really awesome board members too. So thank you, Causewave. Thank you for this award, the WB Potter Award. It is an honor. And I gotta hit the road now because I gotta get to work. Can't you tell? I'm in my COVID work outfit. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Hi, I'm Monroe County Executive Adam Bello. On behalf of Monroe County, the Monroe County Department of Public Health, our partners at the City of Rochester, Causewave Community Partners, and partners in Napier, I want to express my sincere appreciation for this recognition of the 6 Feet Saves initiative. The COVID-19 pandemic has uprooted our lives for nearly 6 months. We all have had to adjust to the new normal of working from home, learning from home, socially distancing and quarantining from our friends, family, and loved ones, and even wearing face coverings while out in public. The 6 Feet Saves campaign was one of the first joint initiatives that we launched as this once-in-a-lifetime pandemic began impacting our community. Working with a team from Causewave Community Partners and partners in Napier, we quickly and successfully rolled out a public service campaign to educate our community about the importance of social distancing to help stop the spread of COVID-19. This collaboration is just one example of how different sectors of our community came together over the last 6 months and have contributed to our success in flattening the curve in Monroe County. So once again, on behalf of the county, on behalf of the Public Health Department, our partners at the City of Rochester, Causewave Community Partners, and partners in Napier, thank you for awarding the 6 Feet Saves campaign with the WB Potter Founders Award.
Congratulations to the entire 6 Feet Saves campaign. The impact of this initiative is truly saving lives in our region. I'm pleased to announce that a commemorative plaque honoring these contributors will be proudly displayed permanently in the Causewave offices right behind me. I'm pleased to announce as well that in honor of our WB Potter Founders Award, the Sylvester Foundation has made a generous gift to Causewave of $10,000. Thank you to the entire Potter and Sylvester family for their steadfast support. Now, I don't have to tell anyone that we're not out of the woods yet. As we listen to the news, we're reminded that COVID-19 will be part of our lives for a while longer. As we see schools rolling out innovative plans for the new school year, we're reminded that we cannot simply hope for one option, but must plan for several. Yet, as we face continued uncertainties, there are also many things that we do know for sure. Thanks to community partnerships like 6 Feet Saves, we'll work together for solutions. Thanks to generous funders like the ESL Charitable Foundation, the Greater Rochester Health Foundation, and the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, Causewave will continue to work with nonprofits on COVID consultations and year one recovery plans. And thanks to people like you, using your voice, your time, your talent, or your wallet, we can continue to be a force for good in this community for the next 70 years. Now, there isn't a little yellow donation envelope on your table this year, but you can still make a huge impact by using the donation button right on your screen. You can use that button to say, I can be a force for good. I can invest in our community. I can do my part in good times and in bad. Last year, you helped get change going by using those little envelopes. I hope that at some point today, you'll be inspired to click the donation button on your screen, and together we can do even more this year. You can also find our mailing address and much more about getting involved in our work right here on our website. So it's a birthday, and what's a birthday without a cake, right? Look at that, there's a 70 on there. How often do you see a 70 on a cake? All right, let's see. All right. This should only take me about 45 minutes. All right, it went out already. You know what? There's a better way to do this. All right, here we go. Oh, there we go. Feel the power. This is a lot of cake. I don't have anybody here to help me eat it. Except for maybe that black lab still around somewhere. I bet you he'd help me with it. We're gonna call that good enough, I think, and I'm gonna blow out these candles. Let me put on my mask to do that. With your reminder to donate. I guess this is a good mask. This one works. On behalf of Causewave Community Partners, thanks once again to all of our sponsors, to our speakers, our award winners, our team captains, our volunteers, Potter members, board, and most of all, each of you. Thank you for joining Causewave today, wherever you are. Thank you for serving the greater good in the work you do across this community every day. We look forward to seeing you in person very soon. For now, happy Friday, everybody.